James, founder of River City Football Club. River City plays in the UPSL. First of all, James, what does UPSL stand for?
United Premier Soccer League.
All right. You're a loyal member of the Anytime Soccer Training Facebook group. I am going to put you on the spot right now. You don't even know this is coming. I'm going to share our group.
Oh, man.
And a question that one of the members just asked. It has 23 comments so far. We'll see how it goes. James, I want you to read. I'm going to read the question out for the audience who can't see it. And then, James, I want you to just to share your gut reaction. All right. The question is, let's say you have, I'm going to see if I can blow this up, but I don't think so. No. Oh, yeah, it does a little bit. Okay. So here we go. That was too big. Or maybe, let's see. I messed up. But anyways, even though others are posting about UPSL now, we got UPSL women. I want to read that announcement.
That's the assistant coach that got me to coach high school, by the way.
Really?
Yep.
You know what? I want to get him. Oh, that's Ruben. Ruben's the assistant coach. Oh, okay. Now it's a small world. I interviewed Ruben. I interviewed Ruben about a couple of years ago about youth soccer in. Where's Ruben from? Where's Ruben from? Oh God, it's one of the. I want to say Uruguay.
No. God, he's gonna kill me. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's one of the most passionate soccer loving countries, football countries in the world. And I interviewed him a couple of years ago. It was amazing. And I'm gonna rehash that one and share it again. But anyways, here's the question. Let's say you have a U15 son and he has the opportunity to play UPSL or MLS Next / ECNL. Which would you advise him to play if the goal is to play pro? And then in parentheses, by pro, I mean not just limited to the US. Now, before you jump into your answer, James, let me read the top two answers just so you can get some context on what folks are saying. So Jason says, whichever he's going to get playing time and improve as a player, to many people worrying too much about which team gets scouted more or which team looks better on your CV, his actual ability on the pitch matters indefinitely more than marketing himself. And now, I agree with this sentiment. I'm the founder of an individual training company, so I agree with this sentiment. My only comment to that would be, I think you might have to be a little strategic as they get older, but I do agree with that. And then I'm going to read one from Scott. I think it would depend upon the minutes they might get. If an MLS Academy team, you can beat it. If it's an MLS Academy team, you can't beat it. And in this case, I think he is specifically talking about a fully funded pro team. USL is another great option. UPSL might be interesting, but what is their connection or history of getting players promoted? There's no single answer. So very thoughtful questions. And by the way, guys, that's why I created the Anytime Soccer Training Facebook group, because I wanted to have these more discerning discussions that actually helped people navigate this youth soccer journey. Even if you're not going to take the comments and literally go out and run out and do what you got to do, it allows people to get connections and reach out to people directly with more information. And that's what we're going to do today. So I've done a lot of talking here, James. What are your thoughts on this question?
I would say I definitely agree with the first poster, Jason. It is, when it comes to going pro, it doesn't really matter where you're playing. It's about the tape. Now, if he's U15, it certainly is he needs to be playing. He doesn't need to be just riding the bench or saying he's playing UPSL or MLS Next. I mean, the point there at that age, if you're trying to go pro, you got to be playing. And training is one thing, but playing is another. Game experience is another. You have to be able to market yourself, and marketing yourself is going to be you playing against the best competition you can. So, um, there isn't a proven track record of guys going pro from UPSL. Is there one from MLS Next? I
Oh,
don't
no.
exactly. We don't know. So I mean, I think it just comes down to how you market yourself. There's so many other places that you can go if you want to play professionally. It doesn't mean MLS. I mean, we work with a guy, I have two kids going to Romania next month to play for Soccer Visa, which is a company that was in the Caribbean and then they just bought a club in Romania. And so now they are we correlate with them because they want to take the guys that nobody cares about. We got two guys, two of them went to Lander University, and they're about to go over there on a pro trial. So it just depends on what you're willing to do to go pro. Going pro is not easy and it's not pretty and it's not cheap. You got to bet on yourself and just trying to play MLS Next to go pro probably isn't going to be it.
So is there a situation where someone can play UPSL and then eventually, now you're getting kind of older, but and then eventually get picked up by an academy? Or is it if you were that good, they would
Probably not an
already.
MLS Next Academy. You're not going to get picked. I mean, they're gonna get you young. They're not going to want the. I mean, you got to be special at 17 if you're just going to come in there. Those guys who are in the academy have been there for a couple years.
So what would be the pathway to become a ML if you had to think about it in a linear progression? The pathway, I'm at UPSL at U15. I'm in a UPSL club at U15 or U16, and my goal is to become a professional soccer player. Now, one thing you already mentioned is there companies who help place kids in a situation to get trials abroad, especially in the, for lack of a, I know it's all over, but the Eastern European countries where it
Yeah.
might be a little bit easier for them to get the
So
trials.
exactly. I mean, and that's another thing that I don't think a lot of kids they say they want to go pro, but it's not easy. You are a foreigner when you go play over there. So you cost a lot of money to come play over there. And that again goes down to the skill set. Like just because, and this guy that works at Soccer Visa, he kind of doesn't like the college, not to say he doesn't like the college route, but it's kind of two different paths. Or, and I don't necessarily think that college leads to pro. Um,
But if we had to say you're trying to map out something for someone, they wrote in their vision board Charlotte FC on the first team, and now they're playing UPSL. One step could be something like you mentioned soccer visa, go to Eastern Europe, become a
mhm.
professional, and then work your way back to top clubs. Could college be a viable in the MLS draft, be a realistic option to become a MLS professional
If you're that good.
if you're that good? So it all boils down to if you're that good.
It is. And I mean, look at the kids at the MLS in the MLS Super Draft, and look how many of them continue to play after they've been drafted. And I mean, these guys, we're talking like all ACC type guys. These aren't like bad players by any means, but it's just a different level of pro. So that's why I try to tell guys, if you want to play pro, you can play pro. It doesn't have to be. MLS might be the damn hardest pro to get to, quite honestly. There's
Yes.
there's so many other options. That if you want to play professionally, you just have to keep your mind open to anything, quite honestly.
So then what's the gap? What are the levels between what are if you're trying to plot out your next step, would it be I'm at UPSL, I can try to get to an MLS Next pro team? And if so, how do you even get on their radar screen or it doesn't work that way?
It doesn't necessarily work that way. Like if we're going to have a timeline and you're 16 and you're playing UPSL, I would say you better be playing in the Premier Division, not Division One, because that is still, I mean, there's good Division One teams, but Soda City, we just won nationals last year, and we're trying to make a run for a repeat. And those are guys. Uh, I mean, hell, even the NCFC team we played, they're very good, like really, really good. Um, and they train every day. And that's another thing, you're gonna get differences like with us and Soda, we only practice 3 times a week. But if you're playing for NCFC or some of these other guys, you're training every single day at better facilities. And so those are all also little things that you have to keep in mind too. How well run is the UPSL team, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're in close proximity, you just have to sell yourself. You have to send videos to these. I would say you send the video to the academy coaches and get them on your radar. And then you go from there, and then they might send the tape somewhere else as you get older or try to invite you in for a trial. Um, and after that, if MLS is your goal, you're just gonna have to be aligned with MLS Next Pro team or something in that realm of the MLS, which is why I hate kids who say they want to go pro. Don't pigeonhole yourself to the MLS because there's more to offer.
All right. So going back full circle to make sure we don't miss this. Let's say you have a U15 son. He has an opportunity to play UPSL or MLS Next / ECNL. Which would you advise him to play if the goal is to go pro? By pro, I mean not just limited to the US. What are you saying to this family? I know you got to add a zillion qualifiers, but what are you saying to this family in general?
Just in general, which team is he going to play the most on, and which team is he going to improve the most at practice? Because that's first and foremost. If you're just playing for a a mid level or bottom level UPSL team that really isn't doing anything in terms of exposure for you, then it's kind of pointless. But if you're playing on a really good one that has all the nice things that maybe an MLS Next team may have, I don't think ECNL is going to be a cost-effective way for you to get to the pros. So I think
Yeah,
it comes down to your playing time and how much do you believe in the exposure that's going to be given to you.
yeah, and I'll say this, you know, soccer dad, coaching license on Facebook, master's of science on Google. So teaching certificate from the U University. So you take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But I always tell parents, there's always people in youth soccer willing to take your time and your money. So in other words, if your child is good enough to be considering going pro, and you're U15 and there's an opportunity at UPSL that you're not sure about, but you're like, okay, maybe, especially considering most of them play in the fall, and considering what you said about a premier team, and you give it a year try, and you're that good, trust me, they're going to be MLS Next, non fully funded, and ECNL teams happy to take your money and your time and get a player that's going to help them win games. So, in
Right.
other words, you can try UPSL for a year, see how you like it, put fillers out there, stay connected with the MLS Next and ECNL coaches because most of them are really nice guys
Right.
and girls, but really nice, and say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Can we come by practice or two so you can kind of see we can stay connected so that we can try out in the fall or try out in the spring? And most of them are going to be like, yeah, come by practice. Let's see what you got. And if you're really good, they're going to stay in contact with you as well. So with that being said, final thoughts.
I think the UPSL is growing. I think it's a great cost-effective way for you to dip your toe in the water and see if the competition level is for you. And like you said, just in that certain situation, if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. They're gonna reach out. And so, again, for me, playing cost effective and playing at a high level, you can't beat it because you're getting both of those in the UPSL. And so that's why we are firmly cemented in our loyalty to them.
James, founder of River City Football Club. I know I put you on the spot here, but I really wanted to engage our group and let people know that you are a resource. And I'm actually going to CC you on a message with him, a resource to get more insight on UPSL. We also have some families in the
Mhm.
group who children have opted to play UPSL. over club soccer, and it's worked out well for them in their situation, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're always going to have people who say, hey, if you can play MLS Next or ECNL, that's the route to go. So I just want to have all of these different conversations so that parents can make, and the player, especially at that age, can make the best informed decision for themselves. Guys, I'm Neil Crawford, founder of Anytime Soccer Training and the host of the Inside Scoop. This has been a quick outtake that we're going to share in the Facebook group. We'll throw it on the podcast as well. Let's get better together.